We live from the Emerald City. It's a Dish with Deeva Show. Here she is, the one and only K-Cee Diva.
Hey, Peeps, it's your girl K-Cee Diva here. Welcome to another edition of Dish with Diva. I'm K-Cee Diva, of course, and I am so excited to join you for yet another Thursday evening. And this is a show where I get a chance to do some real talk with real people. And I have an amazing guest on tonight. This whole networking thing has been really cool. It's like you meet one person and then they know somebody and they still know somebody and they know somebody. And it just kind of goes on and on and on. So I'm really lucky in how I actually meet the guests that I have on the show. All right. So, the talent just keeps coming out of Memphis. So if you remember a few weeks back, if you joined me, I had a lovely lady on by the name of K-Cee, and shout out to her. She has a new debut album coming out soon, and she was on the show. We had a great time. And after the show, she told me, there's a lot of talent coming out of Memphis. I have some other people you need to check out. This one gentleman in particular who is a recording artist. He's an author. He writes stage plays. He has an amazing survival story. And I'm really excited to have him on the show today. Please help me welcome Mr. T'no Lucian. Hello, T'no. How are you today?
Hey, how you doing? I'm decent. How are you?
I'm good. Yes. I'm a lot better than Texas right now. I mean, you mentioned, you told me that you're originally from Memphis, but you reside in Texas now.
Right.
My goodness, they are going through it.
Yeah, it's bad. The one of the mayors in one of the counties, I forget what county it was, he was, pretty much saying that the people shouldn't be lazy and that that he's not responsible for their conditions. But my thing is, dude, you're a mayor. You are responsible for helping. Yeah, I mean, it's not like the people asked for a snowstorm to be there. So yeah, he resigned. He resigned earlier today, actually. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is horrible. Why would he say something like that?
Hey man, privileged people, man. But
wow,
it was the wrong thing to say. It was definitely
it was a horrible thing to say. I was looking at pictures on Instagram. And if you all aren't taking this seriously, go to IG, look at some of these pictures and videos. Yeah. So one guy posted a picture where the water that had burst through his ceiling had become like an ice sculpture. It's so cool.
It's freezing. There are people, a lot of kids and older people, in general, they're dying from the carbon monoxide poisoning because they're sleeping in their cars. And so, like I said, this situation is bigger than what people are reporting. So again, for that mayor to say what he said is very irresponsible. It's very foolish. It's a very selfish statement, and ultimately, I think those people need to get the help that they should deserve. And I hope that everything works out.
I do too. We're definitely sending some prayers over there from the Northwest. For all those folks there, your people that are there as well. Hope they stay safe, and we'll keep an eye on that situation. But let's talk about you. Let's talk about so now you originally from Memphis. How did you end up in Dallas?
Well, so my grandmother moved to Dallas when I was like maybe a year old, maybe. So we would always visit. We would always go back and forth, visiting on summer breaks and all that. So my whole thing was I wanted to have a general area where I could express myself and be more free and be more open, and also just be around different personalities and nationalities and ethnicities. And Dallas has always been that place. Dallas has always been, I call it my second home. I always got a lot accomplished in Dallas. I always had fun in Dallas. I always got the most love in Dallas. So ultimately I knew that Memphis was never the city or place for me to be in where I could thrive. I can make money in Memphis, but to thrive and actually be something and I don't think inside the box like that. So ultimately I knew that Dallas was the spot for me. It's been great.
Right on. Okay, so now, excuse me, you went to Alabama State.
Right.
And what took you to Alabama? What took you there?
So
What was the draw?
Alabama State. I have a cousin named Mariko Rivers, and he's my mentor. I look up to him, right? And so he went to Grambling State University. And with him going to an HBCU, I used to always say like, yeah, I want to go to an HBCU. And my options initially was Southern, Grambling, and Alabama State. Southern actually accepted me, but they waited too late. Alabama State, accepted me first. But Alabama State, because of the theater department, the woman who was over or the head of the theater department was Doc. Doc was the woman who played. Do you remember the movie A Time to Kill?
Yes, I love that movie.
Okay, so Samuel Jackson's wife in that movie.
Yes,
she was the director at Alabama State.
Wow.
For the movie department. So I knew that, and I was like, "Yo, I got to get over there." So she taught us how to, act on stage and how to express ourselves. And I had Mr. Brian Christopher, who was another thespian, another professor of mine. And so I knew I wanted to minor in theater. My major was business, though, but I knew I wanted to do the acting because I had always done it growing up. I always wrote and always acted on stage. So Alabama State ultimately had that program that I loved and cherished.
That's what's up. HBCU. I went to Langston University, which is in Oklahoma. But I always say I wish every young Black person could have that experience, even if it's just for a year. Like it's just it's just an amazing experience, isn't it? It's hard to explain that unless you actually go and experience it.
No doubt. Yeah, I loved it.
I love that story. What a cool professor to have. So were you writing even before you went to college? Do you remember the first story you wrote?
Yeah, so there was a school, and I thank God I went to the school called Roselle Elementary in South Memphis. I was in the fourth grade. Yeah, fourth grade. And I had this teacher named Miss Nina Sprite. Miss Sprite was this white lady who was just full of life and energy. And, I would talk, low, and she would say, "Hey, push it out. Say it with feeling, say it with expression." But the thing about Roselle Elementary was there was this CAPA program, Creative Arts and Performing Arts program. And so with the CAPA program, you could take dance class, you could take writing class, you could do anything you wanted to with the CAPA program. So I chose to take creative writing and choir. So I did the boys choir, but I did creative writing. When I did creative writing, that's when I learned I could write. So I've been writing since fourth grade.
Yeah. Wow. So you've been doing this for a while.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
I just noticed the Marilyn Monroe painting behind you.
No doubt.
I love it. So then Alabama State, graduated from there, and then what?
So I didn't graduate. I did a year at Alabama State, right? And because I was an out-of-state student, they wouldn't give me a scholarship. I had Dean's List both semesters, made straight at Dean's List both semesters, but they wouldn't. I'm an out-of-state student. The tuition was crazy high. And at the last minute, they were like, "Well, hey, we give you a partial scholarship," but it just wasn't enough. Yeah. And with me just having things going on, or personal, having a daughter on the way, I just had to go make some money. I was like, "Yo, I can't stay here, and it's not guaranteed that I'll be able to enroll next year." So I went to the military.
Okay.
Being a fireman in the Navy. So that was the process of that, coming out of that. And I got out of Alabama State, and I don't regret it. I loved Alabama State, but I learned a whole lot. So.
Yeah, well, thank you for your service in the military, for sure. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about so in 2018 you were in a really horrific accident. And I mean, it literally could have changed your life. Like, you could not be sitting here with us right now. I'm gonna let you tell the story about what happened.
I mean, essentially, I had been working with this other moving company, and we were moving a family. It was broad daylight. The job was done. We were heading back, and as we were heading back to Memphis from Mississippi, the train hit the vehicle that I was driving in. It was very unfortunate. I pray for those families every night, because people did lose their lives in that accident, and it was just a horrific thing that I would never want to relive. My video that I shot called Right Time. I shot that video last weekend, and for the first time in almost 3 years, I went back to that area and I shot the video. Oh yeah. So it was emotional, but I had to face that. I had to understand it, and I don't look at the powers that be about that situation. I think it was just a bad day, but I take it for what it is, and I just always, like I said, I pray for those families, and I definitely, when that happened, I was already a person who believed that life was short, and I always felt like you have to work hard and you have to grind, but when that happened, I was like, yep, everything I want to do, I'm just doing it. Whatever I want to do, I'm gonna just do it because I can die tomorrow. So
it changes your perspective, doesn't it? It makes you not as afraid.
Right. I was always a go-getter and a grinder, but that just waking up that morning, I wasn't. The plan wasn't to get hit by a train.
Right.
So
right.
That just said, I was like, yo, that could have been it. That really could have been it. So yeah, anything I want to do, I'm doing it, and I've been doing it. So I
love that. Well, we're grateful you're here with us. And I think the amazing thing out of that situation for you is, during you had to take some time to recover and all of that. You wrote your first stage play, Neighbor's Gold.
Yes,
Neighbor's Gold. What's it about?
All right, so Neighbor's Gold was it was an idea I had maybe 3-4 years before I had even written. I just never had time to sit down. So Neighbor's Gold is about it's about a man who has 2 sons. He has 2 sons by 2 different women. He's an immigrant from Jamaica, and because his ex is mad, at him for not leaving his original family. She calls the authorities and tells them, hey, this dude is over here and he shouldn't be here. So he doesn't meet his sons. He doesn't know him. He raised with one. He was raised with one, but he doesn't know the other son. And so those one boy plays basketball, the other plays football, and they end up finding out that they're brothers, and they end up meeting their father.
Wow!
So it's a cool story.
It's intriguing. I'm gonna have to pick that one up.
yeah. So it's cool.
And then so that's stage play, and then you also wrote your first book. See if I said this right. Olac.
Olac, yes, that's right.
Olac, okay. And so what's that about?
So Olac, I got the name. There's a movie called Apocalypto. On Apocalypto, one of the enemy tribes goes and takes over another tribe, and the surviving son, or the son who's trying to fight for his native tribe, he fights the guys off or whatever, but they ultimately overpower them. And one of the evil guys says, hey, I'm gonna call you Olac from now on. That means almost. And so my book, if you read the book, you'll see why I called him Olac. But Olac, my character, is about a young man who is dealing with epilepsy. He has seizures a lot. And because of that, he doesn't want to be around people in society too much. He's gifted. He can play the guitar. He's a very skilled student, but because of his condition, he lets it handicap him. And ultimately, it's about perseverance, not letting those things deter you, not letting those things keep you down. And that's what Olac is about. It's a really good book.
Okay. Right on. So now where do you get your inspiration from, for the stage plays, for music, all these creative things? You do personal stories, or people, or friends, or you just are fictional, or where do you get your inspiration?
So with Olac, I had a friend, Willie Hardaway, rest his soul. I talked to his brother, because I never knew my friend had epilepsy. I didn't find out about it until he passed away. And then that's when they said, oh, he had a seizure. And I was like, what? Because he was a normal guy. It was amazing at basketball, a hell of a basketball player. I never knew. So when he passed, I was like, well, what happened to him? I had just seen him not too long, before he passed. And That's when his brother told me, hey, you know, he didn't want people feeling sorry for him. He didn't want people knowing about his condition. I was just like, gosh. So that kind of motivated me to write Olac. And then just knowing other people, friends of the family who had children who may have passed away from it, or just, you know, hearing about it. So that was the inspiration for Olac. Neighbor's Gold. Neighbor's Gold came from bitter women. It came from women who don't tell the truth. Because one of the characters in my story, you know, you have two brothers. You got Michelob and you have Olu. They're brothers, but Olu's brother never tells. Toussaint is his name, but Toussaint's mother never tells him about his father. He asked about his dad, and she's like, "Well, he just left us. He didn't want to have anything to do with you." But really, in actuality, you're the one who called the authorities on that man. So he couldn't see it. You lied to your son. Okay. You know, and women do that. They mad at a dude or they got an issue with a guy, they'll lie. Hell, women will have a baby by a guy and not tell the truth. So that's where they came from, because there's no accountability on the behalf of a lot of women. When that happens, they're excused. But there's really a bad thing. You shouldn't hide that from your kids. If your kids are asking about their father and want to know who their father is, then just tell them who the father is. And if he really did walk out on them, say that. But if you bitter, you mad because you couldn't be with him or because he didn't want to be with you, but he still wanted to be a father, that's your fault. So we're gonna talk about that. So I'm just not afraid to talk about it.
Yeah. You know, that's really interesting that we're talking about this. I had a similar conversation with a friend of mine earlier this morning. This exact same thing. And you know, it was one of my guy friends, and you know, he was saying the same thing. He does a lot of blog posts and things like that, and he talks about relationships and you know, he was saying that the now generation, you know, there's this trend of you know, the phrase, I guess, is like proud single mom. And I was like, what is that? And he said, well, you know, we don't need a man. We don't, you know. Right. My initial response to that was, okay, are you sure that's not like a kind of a defense mechanism, you know, meaning like you may not necessarily feel that way, but if he's not around, maybe, you know, he was a deadbeat dad, maybe he ran off, you know, is that a defense mechanism? And he said the thing that you were just saying, where, you know what, there's a lot of situations where the parents get into it, you know, the dad is kept from the kids, and the kids don't know. They think the dad, you know, doesn't want to be around them. And we had this exact same conversation this morning. So it's interesting that book talks about that.
Right. So and that's why I wrote Neighbor's Gold. I wanted to come from an aspect of, no, this is not how this happened, because even with the father being in Jamaica, even though he's deported, he still keeps in touch with the son that he raised, right? Like the one he grew up in the house with, he still gets to talk to him because the mother is making sure he knows him. But he has zero to do with the other son. It's an amazing, I mean, and the way it comes together. So, and again, it's a stage play. So I've done the table reads, but we can't put it into production yet because of COVID. But when I'm able to put it into production, it's because I wrote music to it. They perform in this play. So it's not really just a play. Yeah, but I had to come from that perspective, from that aspect, because that happens. And I do not think it's a defense mechanism when women think they really believe it. And that's cool. Yeah. You know, I had a friend ask me, hey, why don't you date women? I said, well, you know, they want each other. They don't want a man. And so I'm all right with that. You know, I mean, they don't want it. They want a woman. Yeah. And so this is just a new generation. Yeah. So, but that's another story. So, but my thing is,
that's a whole other show.
Yeah, man. But my whole
thing, about that one.
Yeah, no doubt. But my whole thing was, let's talk about not that the father didn't want to be there or that he didn't want to be in his son's life. Yeah, he made a mistake because he cheated on his, you know, significant other, but he still wanted to be in that child's life as well.
In the kid's life, yeah.
You know, so let's not play that game, and it happens a lot. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we will be waiting on Neighbor's Gold.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to do the stage play.
I sent an invitation to the premiere, and then
yeah, right. No doubt.
All right. Well, cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about the music. So
Okay.
now you released your first EP called Lucian, right?
Right.
And so now, gosh, I mean, what haven't you done? So you've done the book, you've done the stage play.
Yeah.
Now you do the music. How did that project come about?
So Lucian, I initially I wrote one song, right? I was like, oh, I'm gonna, just do this song, and I hadn't been in the studio much since the accident, and so I said, well, hey, look, I got this new music, and also executives and people who know that I've done music before. Last album I did was 2010, but they kept asking me, when you gonna do music? When you gonna do music? I'm like, man, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put something out, and I'm registered with BMI as a composer, a writer and a composer.
Oh, okay.
So, I registered the songs, and I was like, let me go ahead and just register a few songs. And as soon as I did that, it was like, yo, we own it. They were ready for it. So I wrote 6 different songs, 6 different meanings. I mean, they can go into any genre. I'm very versatile. I'm not a guy who, I don't do the same things. And I love just freely doing what I do, writing. And I put the music, I wrote 6 songs in 6 days, and then I put it out, and it was fun. So and that's where Lucian came from.
Sounds fun. That sounds, and 6 days. Wow, that's fast, isn't it? Is that a normal time?
That's for material.
You weren't playing.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, well, I've got a little sample of now is this your current single or the first single, Hasta Luego?
So Hasta Luego is the single that I'll be pushing secondly. The first single is called Right Time, actually. That's what I shot the video.
Okay.
But Hasta Luego is the one I think I'm gonna push, I guess.
Well, Hasta Luego, I mean, I was like, it's just got that beat where you keep repeating the hook, and I was like in the kitchen dancing, and I was like, hey, this is catchy, I like it. So I'm gonna play just a little snippet for you all out there watching us tonight, so you can hear a little bit of T'no's music. So this is a little sample of a song called Hasta Luego.
Stay out the way, cause we know the block is hot. Hasta luego. Give this to me, amor. Me you never see before. Si silencio, por favor, luego. Stay out the way, cause we know the block is hot. Hasta luego. Give this to me, amor. Me you never see before. Si silencio, por favor. Me llamo T'no Lucian. She's Puerto Rican, Cuban. Me say estás ocupado. She say no, but how you doing? At first I was upset, I must admit a bit depressed, but now I see you in me present. See me dia va bien. Tell me where do we begin? I never seen you here before. Yes, tú es hermosa, similar, also mucho calor.
Hey, I love it. So now, it sounds like you're talking about a girl in that song. Is there someone that behind the inspiration for that song?
So Hasta Luego is literally, it's a story about, you meet a beautiful woman, but she is nuts. She crazy, and so you're just telling a creative story, a funny story.
Okay.
Because you're like, okay, she's beautiful, but man, she got me about to, we about to get shot at this club. She popping pills. She crazy, so that's what Hasta Luego is about. It's like this one. Like, I'll see you later. We gonna drop you off because you tripping. And so it's a funny play on words, and of course knowing how to speak Spanish and all that. So yeah, man, it was fun writing it. I had fun writing. So
it's a fun song. It's very it's just a cute, catchy song, and like you said, the story when you hear the full song and such. Right. And I think, we so need these kind of things right now. We need some new music, some fun music, something that's light and, that you can just kind of bounce around to and do the thing. So how many songs total on the EP?
6. 6 songs on the EP.
6 songs total. What's your favorite?
Hasta Luego is my favorite. I would say the song Right Time is my most personal.
Okay.
And then after that, it's a toss-up. Third favorite may be a toss-up between either Get Ghost or the song called Chivalry.
Okay. Well, I had a chance to listen to all of them. Awesome. And I think they're all slamming. You
Thank
know,
you.
really, really good writing, good music. Yeah, I'm excited for people to hear the whole entire EP. So now tell us where can they get it? Where can they get the book? Where can they? We're waiting on the stage play, so you know after COVID dies down and all that. But we're gonna get the book. We're gonna get the music.
The book and the music, everything can be on my website, www.TnoLucian.com, TNOLUCIAN. And my Instagram is the same thing, at T'no Lucian, at TNOLUCIAN.
All right. So now what's next? What are you just gonna kind of, you know, I know you're gonna probably release, you know, some different songs off the EP, but are you already working on another project? You're just gonna chill for a minute?
I just finished my new book, T'no. I just finished it. Yep. And I'm excited about it, man. Now I'm really Olac was like getting into it, and I kept stopping. It took 7 months. It took so long to write it because I wasn't sure if I was gonna write it. But T'no, I wrote that in like less than a month actually. So and it's longer than Olac, but T'no is gonna be really I'm excited about it. So that's the next thing that's coming. So it should be released. See, February. So end of March, early April, it should be out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been fun to talk to you. You have an amazing story. You're just an amazing talent, a lot of energy, and I love it. We'll definitely have you back. We'll catch up to you, you know, maybe later on in the year and see what else is going on.
Cool. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right. All right, peeps. Well, you know where to find me each week, every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget, every first Thursday of the month. So the next show will be March 4th. I do a show called Northwest Nightcap with K-Cee Deeva. All my peeps are with me. Anthony Adams, Princess Robin, Kurt, K-Cee Clayton. And we talk about all the entertainment stories that you might have missed in this chaotic environment world that we live in right now. We've got snowstorms, we've got elections, we've got COVID ongoing. Sometimes you just need to just have a laugh. And so we look at all the entertainment stories of the month and catch you up on those because who has time to pay attention to that with everything else going on, right? All right, hit me up on IG, MZ, K-Cee Deeva, Facebook, K-Cee Deeva, also K-Cee Deeva shows on YouTube. Be sure to go over there, like, subscribe to my channel. And I will see you next week right here again for Dish with Deeva. And of course, as always, I will leave you with this. All right, later, peeps.